Previously on Raiders of the Serpent Seas, our heroes fell in battle, struck down by gods and beasts. The flames of their last stand burned bright, but rather than eternal rest, they awoke upon the shores of the land of the dead, in the legendary halls of the slain, where warriors prepare for Ragnarok. At first all seemed as foretold, endless feast, grand halls, and the promise of one final war. But something was wrong. Time does not flow as it should. The halls exist within a fractured loop. Every night reality resets, warriors forget, the past rewrites itself, and only the heroes remember what came before. They witnessed Thonir, once a grieving carpenter, shift overnight into a hardened warlord, and then into a broken and withered husk, drowning in mead as the world darkens around him. The black tendrils of the Jotun stretch ever closer, ensnaring the dead in an endless cycle, preventing them from returning when the final battle comes. Yet amid this uncertainty, hope remains. The shipbuilder Runar still walks these lands, a man who once crafted vessels that could cross the mystical seas. But there is no wood left to build such a ship. Thonir cut down all those trees a long time ago. But the Thonir has given the party hope. A single golden seed was placed into the heroes' hands, a chance to restore what has been lost, a chance to break the cycle, a chance to escape the halls of the slain before it's too late. Now, the choice is theirs. Find a way to grow the tree, find the shipbuilder Runar, break the cycle, or remain here trapped in eternity as the world they swore to protect falls into ruin. The halls are watching, the Jotun are waiting, and the cycles will reset again. Okay, so yes, we are back in the moments here. Thonir has placed into your hands this seed, and he has an inkling that it is of more use to you than it is to anyone else. Baldor, after drinking for umpteen cycles, is finally coming out of a stupor to actually be able to take in what is going on a little bit this time. And you are here at the end section of the cycle. The time hasn't moved on yet. You know, as you sleep, the cycles will reset again. But you're back in the moments, and it's really, is there anything else you wish to do this cycle before moving on, or will be the questions?
Well, Xisa, is that you? I didn't notice until now.
You've been quite taken with the mead, as Rauðr has, but it's nice to see that you're finally in your right mind.
Genuinely speechless.
But yes, it is me, and yes, it would seem that things are to be concerned about. But do we believe that we will just keep cycling or keep jumping in time until after Ragnarok, or do we think we'll go back?
Yeah, it's a good question. The small Fey woman that you met, Boxler, she did suggest that there is 3 specific times that you are dealing with here on that one. You haven't experienced it for yourselves that you will revert back, but you have at least been told that the Fae have been dealing with that problem and have been seeing these 3 cycles over and over for a while now, as from what they were saying. So yeah, you're taking it on her word. That is definitely true. I think one other thing I do need to cover, Baldor. One of the reasons that you started drinking so heavily is that during the second cycle, the midpoint of this game, you were approached by Care, the old Lutan clan leader. He did seek you out, and he gave you information that was a little daunting on that one. He basically filled you in that it was not him that had taken your family's lands and caused your family to fall into ruin. It was actually his second in command who had his seal, and he admitted that he did not know, was not aware of everything. Now, whether you believe him or not in what he has said, that is obviously up to Baldor. But he did try to claim that he died finally when Rauðr came to confront him when he was taken away from the match after the match, and it was then that all was revealed to him as to why his downfall had to play out the way it did. He still doesn't like you. He doesn't like your family, but there is this lingering thought that maybe he is not quite the villain that Baldor may have thought of him in that moment, and Baldor probably has been drinking to think or pass that thought for a while in this lands. But yes, you are still here in this last cycle. Are you guys going to attempt anything? You obviously know that the shipbuilder is somewhere on the islands. You haven't found that person yet. You don't know what that will take to get him to build a ship in the first place. You are aware of, obviously, you have a seed. What you do with that will obviously again be your choices on that one. And yes, whether or not there's anything else that you'll need to prepare or do when this cycle is to be tried to be broken or changed in any way. Because that's another thing you haven't been able to prove yet. Can you change the cycle in any way, shape, or form? You don't know any of this yet. But yeah, these must be questions that are sort of lingering in the thought processes of some of you.
Maybe we should find the shipbuilder before this cycle is over, because as we know, people's temperaments can change over time and in different versions of these cycles. So we may need to work out what's the most favourable version of this shipbuilder to ask to build a ship when the time comes.
There's wisdom in that. We could get to know him and find out what better way to convince him or his younger self. Maybe find out what his desires are or what his needs or wants are, or what they were at the time. And perhaps if this somehow loops, we could use that to our advantage.
Fair enough. So yeah, you are all at the main hall at the moment. I can tell you a few of the sort of ideas of what you know around that you haven't visited. You have the sparring grounds outside of the actual hall. That obviously there are many people that seem to be moving that way, and there you can hear the clash of weapons and bits out there. It's very loud coming from over there. There are Valkyries that seem to keep heading off towards some orchards to the north, and also towards a bunch of fields. So they seem to be like either tending the fields or doing menial work over that way. You are also aware of where the mead goats were on the east of the island, and you do know that there was some sort of a well not too far from there that you haven't investigated yet. You've met the boar and the Fey woman Boxler that was down in the south, down nearby the Endless Shores, there are sort of areas up to the north as well where herds of animals seem to roam as well. But yeah, it's really just a matter of what sort of course of action you care to take. Where would you like to head?
If our goal is to find the shipbuilder, do we believe that he would be back down in the settlement?
We could ask.
Certainly plausible. Certainly plausible. So you're going to make your way back towards where the everlasting goats were from the last time, or is there another destination in mind?
I mean, I know the goat place pretty well.
Yes, fair enough. Yeah, I think that would be fair that in the second round he didn't leave the goat milking area for very long. Going straight to the source.
I feel like someone in the main hall probably knows where he is.
We could inquire with Thonir himself.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Or again, Blóki, you've been very good at finding out some of the rumors going on in the hall in the other zones. So it would definitely be plausible. You could ask around and see what you can do. I think you can make an investigation check and a persuasion check. I'll probably use a bit of both for working out how some of this plays out for making this work.
Investigation is my weaker one, so let's do that one first.
Okay.
Can I give you? Never mind.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, fair enough. So it comes down to just how blind luck he gets on chatting with people. So yes, just make a general persuasion check and see how well he does. Oh my god. So yeah,
I've got a plus 12 on persuasion.
Yeah, he's definitely what Blóki lacks in investigation needs. He can definitely make up in the other side of things with that on the halls. Let me go to the gossip table here on that one. Let's see what else. I need you to roll on the table now. There's a D8, Blóki, and then we'll see. I'm going to weight it a little bit so that there's more chance. I need a D10 from you in this case. Mm-hmm. Seven. Okay.
Lucky 7.
Yep.
Lucky 7.
Fair enough. So yeah, Blóki, it takes you a little while because your investigation was low, but there is a woman showing off a well-made knife to a friend. She starts talking about it, and she does explain that it was made by a legendary smith, and the name Runar does come up on that one. But it turns out that it was made for her basically after she had won. She had done well in the sparring arena. So yeah, it's implied that heading to the sparring grounds is probably a good idea for seeking out Runar in amongst it.
I share my findings. Well, we may have to win his favor by the sounds of things. And he looks at Baldor and he's like, "This is your area, mate."
Okay, so yes, you will make your way out to the sparring grounds as this is all going on. There are this is in the end times. Many people are out there sparring and practicing. They are all getting ready for the time when war will happen and everyone will return to the land of the living. Although there is a little bit of disgruntled despair going on because of the tendrils and the fact that Thonir is so down on what is going on currently with all of that. But yeah, people are definitely practicing and going through the motions on that one. But yeah, Blóki, a wizened, grim-faced, grey-skinned dwarf sort of picks up a pickaxe from a human warrior that has just fallen, and he sort of he's pointed out. They've been pointed out to you, Blóki, that this is the guy that you're looking for. But yeah, he sort of looks up at you, Blóki, as you sort of approach, and he's sort of will be saying, "What you looking at?"
Well, nothing particular. We're newcomers to the area, so we're just looking around. The sparring area was suggested for us. Woman got a really nice sword in this area, and a dagger, knife, one of those kind of things, and I was hoping to get one myself. I do love shiny things, so thought I'd come over here.
He does chuckle at that for a moment and takes his thing on that one and says, "So you heard of me then, the smith? Yes, I am Runar."
Hey, yeah. Only good things. I've only heard good things, but yeah. It's a pleasure to meet you. This is my crew. Unfortunately, we all went down together, so we're stuck in eternity together. And Blóki will introduce one by one.
No, fair enough. So he grimly nods at each of you until it gets to Rauðr. And when you're introduced, Rauðr, he says, "Oh, so one of you at least has got some taste." And he sort of points to your great axe that you're carrying around, Rauðr, and says, "I would recognize one of mine anywhere. I hope it served you well."
She suddenly goes like gooey, starry-eyed, and is like, "Oh my gosh!" And yeah, she immediately just goes into full fangirl mode, and brings out the axe and shows that it is like perfectly pristine. Like she keeps this thing in absolutely perfect condition.
In great condition on that one. But he says, so that was one of my better ones that I produced for sure. I am pretty good with that. You know, if you guys end up having some time and you can get enough gold together, I could maybe do some work on that for you at some point. It would be handy in the long run for what's to come at Ragnarok, no? And I will say, mechanically, he's suggesting that he might be able to make it an extra +1 and and extra damage is what he intimates to you, Rauðr, that he will be able to pull off. But it takes a lot of gold for that. But if you can figure it out and get enough together, we could definitely work on that at some point. But anyway, is there anything else I can do for you, or are you just here for some training like everybody else? We don't know how long it is to Ragnarok, and with all these tendrils showing up, it must be getting close.
Well, yeah, one of the things I did hear about you is that you're incredibly good at making boats, and thinking ahead for Ragnarok, I think that's a pretty useful skill. So is that something that you're hoping to go about? Because if you need labor, we're free. There's nothing else much to do.
I haven't built a boat in a long time. Thonir got rid of most of the woods, etc. for that sort of thing a long time ago. And also my sketchbooks of my designs as well. Most of those have disappeared over the centuries. But, yeah, I was very good at what I did. In weapons and in other things. Boats are one of the most difficult things I ever had to do. But, yeah, I think those days are gone.
But given the opportunity, is that something you'd be interested in pursuing?
It's not an easy task, but yes, I would be interested if I could again. I always wished I could have carried on what I did. We did so much in the early days here. Thonir was traveling around the lands. I traveled with him sometimes. We fought dragons. We fought all manner of creatures here. It was amazing. Nothing can die, so you can have the battle more than once. It was an amazing time. But then, yes, we had to settle. We had to do what we needed. And he didn't feel the need for travel anymore. So yes, I miss those times. I can look back whimsically now, but in my earlier days I was upset at the loss of it all. It was a long time ago.
Well, if I hear rumor of anyone going anything like that, then I will let you know first. I have a skill set for gossip, I must admit.
Well, good luck for that. But in the meantime, train as you can. Make yourselves ready for when the time comes. I know Thonir is down on the idea that we'll ever get to Ragnarok at this rate, but we came here with the thought that we would eventually have one last battle. And it will come. I'm sure of that. But a pleasure to meet you anyway.
And you.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
You said your notes on building ships were lost. Do you remember when or where you lost them by any chance?
No, Thonir didn't. We didn't lose them. Thonir destroyed them finally. Some of the wood became parts of this, but most was long before that. And he looks up at the hall and says, I know he needed it built, but it was a shame that we couldn't sail no more. And why he felt the need to make sure all the trees were taken. That was sad. They were sacred, you know. They were beautiful in their own way. Hell, some of the people even worshipped them. It was a shame what we had to do. And it's a shame that they're gone. But there's nothing to be done with that now. So train yourselves for Ragnarok where you can, celebrate when you can, and be ready when the time comes for the final battle. It's all we have left. So yeah, a fairly somber mood with this guy in this time period, but he looks back on some of these things a little bit more whimsically than he would think on that one.
Do any of us have like parchment on us? I'm just thinking if we got him to write a note to his past self.
Parchment is exceedingly rare and not used by raiders. That's why I tattoo myself instead of have a spell.
Correct. Yeah, it's a very, very rare thing. Only Frida would be the only one that has any knowledge of any of that. Basically, from
then we
Baldor,
tattoo it
yeah.
on ourselves.
I was literally just going to think, can we tattoo it on Xisa?
You're not using Xisa as a post-it.
You know,
We're spirits now. It's fine.
you know, I've always been partial to those like lower back tattoos. I think it's pretty nice. Like if someone wants to put one of those on me, I think I would. That's.
I'm curious about why these notes have to be so permanent. I feel like they could just be written on ink and then not needled into the body.
I mean, we could probably have like scraps of leather and create a scroll.
Yeah.
Or something.
Bits of wood, bits of leaf. There's many options before permanent carving on the body.
Before we go the memento route.
Well, fair enough. So what are you guys thinking? What are you attempting to pull off in these moments is the
It's
question.
like a note to his former self, like obviously in his tone, in his handwriting, with his signature. That's kind of the ultimate persuasion tool to a past self, I think.
But how do you convince a person that you've just met that this is a sane thing for them to do?
I mean,
It's
that
a
sounds
note,
like
Jen.
It's a little bit weird.
the Blóki job is what that is.
That's a
Sounds
Blóki job.
like the job of the bard.
Jess is trying to work out how to make it not sound insane.
Fair enough. They do
That I
not
can't
know
help.
that there's a cycle going on.
We ask him to put in the note something only he would know. Like, literally only something he would know.
And he just tell us something only he would know and then convey that?
Yeah.
Also, how did we come to the conclusion that this is going to be a cycle? Did we, as characters, ever
We
figure
spoke to
that
the mushroom lady.
The only
okay,
only thing that
okay.
you know that from is the mushroom fey lady. Yes, that is correct.
I couldn't remember
I
how
trust
we
mushroom people implicitly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, you've trusted the
Last of
Part
Us.
of his character.
The thing.
that would be so sad,
Mushroom
isn't it? We
people.
should never have trusted the mushroom woman, and then it all went wrong. But yes, it is all laden with her words on that one. And you did watch the boar return to life, I suppose, from nothing. So there is a bit of that going on.
And watch Thonir get old and
Yes,
young
yeah, you
again
have seen
and all
age
that kind of stuff.
going on that front. Yeah, there is currently a boar carcass out in the yard outside the halls that has had all the meat stripped off it one more time in these end times, and the little mushroom woman is collecting all the bones again. She seems to be collecting them to take them back to the place where she takes them to regenerate. But yes, sorry. Back to in these moments here. What are you going to try and do with Runar, or are you going to try anything to do with him before you change moments in cycle, or are you going to go exploring? That is obviously the other end of the.
Xisa says, if you would humor me a question. If you could possibly tell your younger self something from when you first arrived on this island, from when Thonir first began to construct the hall, what would you want to know that you have only discovered with age?
I wish I had trained harder, been more ready for these end times. The darkness around is stronger than I expected, and I would have told myself to watch Thonir more. He needed more help than I guessed back then. That's what I would have told myself.
And if this message were to be conveyed by another, how would you get them to convince yourself that the message actually came from you?
Ooh, you're going to need a
Is this-
persuasion check at this
Yep,
point.
that's fine.
Yeah, but-
That's fine. This is just Xisa spitballing. Persuasion, not the worst, but not the best.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my on that one. Okay.
Celestial Xisa strikes again.
It smiles for a moment and thinks about it on that one, and says, what's to be lost by it? I think I would believe it if I was told my wife's name. And he will, say it quietly to Xisa in the moment, and says, she was beautiful, and I loved her dearly in life. But hearing that name would remind me of things that I'd lost, but also maybe push me on to new. So maybe I would believe at that point. But what's to be lost at the end now? And we do need a female raider name, so give me a second.
Raider name. And Xisa would nod. and say, I appreciate you entertaining the notion. A thought exercise at the end of times, I suppose.
We all wish we could have more time sometime. We could all do more than we did. I can't even pronounce that name, but the female name is that Xisa. So yes,
that's the easy table. Jeez Louise.
Well, it's the Raider names table, at least on that one. But yes,
Throhilder.
Yeah, Throhilder. Yes, I guess is the
Throhilder
is the name. Yeah, so he does. Only a natural 20 would have gotten you that. But yeah, you got a name, and yeah, you might feel that would be easier to convince him. He has also obviously suggested that his sketchbooks would be needed, and obviously you already have a seed, but no tree as of this point. Is there anything else you would try before the night would pass, or would you explore any more here and in this time period before you went on to the next?
I mean, we could have a look around.
Absolutely, yeah. You definitely can. You've got space and choices if you wish, or you can obviously sleep the time away. Either option is valid.
And this is like the next day or something. Like a day has passed since like.
When you sleep, obviously that'll be you have a full day in each cycle is the way it works.
Okay.
So yeah, the minute you sleep, you know the cycle will move on, or it has from when you've slept previously.
So then, can Xisa, at the beginning of this end day, actually no, at the beginning of the next end day. So never mind, it hasn't happened yet. But she's gonna do something the next time we jump.
Fair enough, no problem. Is there anything for this time period? Is the question before you begin again? Okay, sounds like sleep might be the way forward then, by the sounds of it. So, are you guys make
also, hi Joe, he's here on mute.
Ah, yes.
Hi.
He's listening in, I guess, but yes, he's not come through on audio yet. But if he needs to or can, we'll listen in. But yes, okay, yes. So, you guys will all take to the evening, have more mead as you see fit, but yeah, the night will come, sleep takes you, and in the morning you will awake to the early days of this place. Thonir is once more hammering and building the hall itself. There are fewer dead around, wandering around, looking around, doing bits and bobs here and there, but yeah, most attention seems to be focused on building the hall itself as you guys awake this new morning.
So Xisa would what she wanted to do today is find we're near this like river kind of thing, right?
Yeah, you're just outside the halls. The sparring ground is brand new. There is, a little tiny fence around it. Yeah, there's less cut down areas of trees. There are fields off to the north, not too far from you, where cultivated land is. There's Valkyries that are seem to be tending to some apple orchards not too far from here as well. Yeah, there are herds of animals to the north as well. And
okay.
Obviously, the settlements to the east.
Yeah, so I think what Xisa would like to try to do is a little experiment, because even though she's in a new body and has a new temperament, I think she's still Xisa, and she wants to check something out. So she's prepared different spells for today, and which was interesting because, like, I think the tattoos that she has come to the surface and swirled and then kind of went back down. So, like, she still has them, but for whatever reason in this form, they're not visible. Which explains the art. But one thing that wizards can do is that on a long rest they can swap out their cantrips. So it's a cantrip formula type deal. So she is going to finish a long rest. You can replace one wizard cantrip, with another. So that's what she did. She did have acid splash, and she swapped it out for control for shape water. And she just wants to see if she's able to manipulate the water in this realm because it's different.
Ah, yes, fair enough on that one. You give it a go with the water. It is sluggish. It weighs wrongly. It feels odd when you try and do it. But you can manipulate it, is probably the best way of putting it. It's odd. It's like trying to work with soup rather than water would probably be the best way of putting it. It's just odd and acts differently than you would expect.
It's more viscous, maybe.
Yeah. It's certainly more like more like an odd texture, more of a different feel than you would get from water normally. But yeah, it's kind of like white soup almost for this water. It was very very odd.
Okay, but it can be manipulated.
It can be manipulated. Yes, yeah. You're not locked out then.
Okay, so then I think that's all she wants to do now. I think she would, after everybody does whatever it is they need to do, she would suggest going to find the mushroom lady.
Yep, fair enough. No worries. I'll say, because obviously Joe is kind of semi here. She does check whether or not she has the golden seed from the last cycle, and she does. So that has come back with you guys in this time frame. So yes, that's obviously something has passed from the other cycle to this one.
Yeah, so Xisa would notice that and nod. She said, that bodes well if we have a boat made for us, that if we were to continue the cycle, that it could possibly go with us.
Yeah, and I think Frida would also obviously still have the memory of when you first arrived. She did see flashes of a giant tree next to the halls of the slain originally, but that disappeared very, very quickly in the moments when when you guys moved closer to it back in the first cycle. So we'll give you that too. So yes, early days. Carpenter Thonir is doing his thing. What are you guys going to get up to?
I suppose we should find the Fae that we spoke to a few days ago. See if indeed she still has her memory of us and the time that's passed. She could help us plant the seed somewhere safe so that it can grow and flourish. That way in later days Runar could actually utilize its wood to create a ship for us.
Fair enough. So yeah, I can you guys know where she was last time, so I will have you guys make your way down to the area once again, and you do find her, and she appears to be standing over the body once more of this carcass of a boar that seems to be going on. And as you guys approach again, she says, "Oh, it's you lot again. You back? How you getting on?"
We believe we have a route forward. We were hoping maybe you could help us with that.
Oh. What are you thinking?
We indeed, a day passed and the jump happened for us as well. So we know that tomorrow it will be Thonir at the height of his power, and that the next day it would be a little before Ragnarok, and then the day after it would return to what is roughly the beginning of his time here. Yesterday he gave us a seed. We think that the seed will grow into the wood that would be used by the shipwright to create a ship, a vessel that would allow us to leave. what we hope is that if we plant it now, that 2 days from now, it would be a full-fledged tree that could be used to be chopped down and have the wood turned into a vessel for us.
You're going to try and change things. That's... We didn't think of that. So you've managed to bring something from that cycle to this one. That's more than we've managed to pull off.
Yes, we're hoping that if we do have Runar build a ship for us, that this ship, being of the seed that was able to travel with us, would also be able to stay during the jumps.
I can't hurt to try. Hold on 1 minute. Let's give him a sec. And you just watch as the sun rises over the side of the hills here and into the forest. And you watch as the giant boar body starts to knit back together again for another time. And she stands over as this happens and pulls his form back together and rebuilds himself into the giant version of this boar. And then she sort of nuzzles it again and on your way. And sets him off on his on his things again. Poor bugger. He's been at this so long these days. It's not easy for him. But maybe you can change
the boar,
that.
Remember?
I think he does. Poor thing. The amount of times they've killed him to eat him. I don't know. But anyway, hopefully we can change the cycle soon enough. We each have our lots in it, and maybe we can do it. So the trees, that kind of tree back in the day, they grew in the central section of the island a long time ago, before Thonir cut them all down, a few to make his boats originally, and the last to make his hull. So if they're going to grow anywhere, it's going to be there. It should be safe enough. Raiders will think it's sacred, and it should be pretty safe. I don't see any downsides to working out doing that. Hopefully it grows. I mean, it passed through the cycle. Maybe it can grow in normal now. I don't know. But it's worth a shot.
And you don't believe that Thonir would chop this tree down?
I don't know. I don't think so. He always had enough for his haul. Hopefully that would be enough. I think he regretted cutting the last ones down.
So it was not something he did to prevent the construction of vessels. It was just that he used all that he had to create the hull, and there was nothing left.
Yeah. He knew he needed to build the hull for what he wanted and prepare everyone for Ragnarok. But I do think he regretted it, having to use all of them up. So maybe this will work. Like I said, I think it's worth a shot. So bury it on the central island, and it's got a good chance. I'll try and get the Fae to watch out where we can, but obviously we're stuck in the cycle too. We're moving as you move. So we can't offer it protection in the same way. But yeah, I think you'll just have to see how you do.
And if we are able to construct a vessel, you would still want to accompany us,
Oh,
yes?
hell yeah. I would love to be able to go on the seas again. Go home, see Whispering Cove and the rest of them. Yeah, I've been stuck a long time, and dragons don't seem to come this way no more.
Well, then we shall endeavor to do our best. We have our own reasons to want to take to the seas as well.
Good luck with it all. I'll be around. I'll keep an eye out as I can. And if there's anything else I can help you with, I will try. But good luck with it all.
Xisa kind of steps off a ways
Mhm.
and says, "So now we need to convince Runar of our task and hopefully plant the seed in his mind, if you'll excuse the parallel, that once the tree is big and healthy enough to be harvested, that he will make a ship for us. And then we also need to find out what Thonir did with the plans of the ship. Perhaps we should go speak with him first."
Yeah, the only thing with that, Xisa, is in this top point in the cycle, you do know that Thonir was grieving and very difficult to talk things through with. That might be the one thing to put on that one. The other intelligence point I will give you, you just roll me an intelligence check for Xisa. Yeah, this should be easy enough.
Straight intelligence?
Straight intelligence, yeah.
Alright. There we go.
There we go. So, yeah, planting a seed in his head, in Runar's head, is irrelevant as no one is remembering anything outside of a cycle, outside of out of that day. So it's going to be convincing him when the time comes, rather than wasting your time trying to convince him prior to a section of a cycle, if that makes sense. Seems to be the thing.
I didn't have to figure out his wife's names back in the day. There's just no reason.
You do, as in knowing that will help with convincing a different version of him something. But yeah. So it has its uses, but you can't plant the seed. There's no tree, and then convince him of what he needs to do. Is what I'm trying to save you from. Cool. Okay. So where are you heading? What's the next steps? Are you heading back to the middle island, or are you going to go investigating in this time period? What's your thought process?
Do we know in this time period if Runar has the plans, and then later on Thonir?
No, he intimated that his times building ships was prior to this, but you have no idea where he is in this time period. You certainly haven't come across him yet. And you're unaware of much more about that, rather than it was probably prior to this time that his notes were a thing. That's the only intimated thing that you've had.
Well, the Valkyrie are very protective of him. I think some of them are aware of the cycle too.
You do get the sense that some are, yes, from what you've heard, yeah.
So, Blóki, this seems like something that you would excel at, but whether or not the Valkyrie will let you close enough to try, I do not know. And for reasons I'm still aware of, they do not take heed of me.
So what are you
Perhaps
thinking? Are you thinking back to the hall towards that?
Yeah. Perhaps you and Frida should try approaching Thonir now, when he is just a carpenter, and speaking to him.
I'm okay with that.
I can go plant the seed. If Frida, you just tell me whereabouts you saw... Wait, did Frida ever mention the tree to us or no?
I'm going to say that at some point it has come up in conversation, as Joe's relatively quiet, but I'm going to say it has come up in conversation.
Can you guys hear me?
Just about, Joe. Yes, there we go.
Hello.
I actually can't even remember the tree dream anyway, so...
okay, well, Frida, your character is aware that, she saw it planted near the giant tree near the main hall on the central island back in the day.
Maybe Frida doesn't tell me, but wherever Xisa puts it, it's just going to automatically be the right place, because...
Frida tells you, Joe will not, because Joe can.
Okay. So then, so we'll kind of divide and conquer. So Xisa will take herself out of the situation to give them the best chance of being able to succeed in this conversation, because she feels like her presence would be a little bit of a detriment. And she's going to go plant the seed. She has a high enough nature that I think she'd be able to do this well.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so yeah, we'll deal with that quickly from in the moments. But Xisa, yeah, you do make your way over to a patch of land not too far away from where the hole is, and you do find a spot in the ground to plant the tree. Is there anything that she does in moments of doing some of this?
I don't think she has a spell or anything that would help with what she's doing. I'm just looking real fast. Sorry, hang on.
That's all right, no problem.
Let's see. Definitely don't want to blight it. That would be bad.
Yeah, that might not be the idea for that. That's definitely true.
So it doesn't work this way, but I think that she's gonna try this. As she plants the seed and the soil is soft enough after it's already been covered, I think she's gonna reach down into the soil, like through the soil, until she can grasp the seed in her hand.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to unfurl her wings and just kind of release her radiant soul. And then she's going to, as she's grasping it, she's going to put as much positive energy as she can into it.
Oh, I like it, yeah.
And use her healing hands ability just kind of to channel as much
energy as she can.
Divinity into it. But not only that, but also whatever it is that keeps her and the rest of the Chosen
interesting.
Aware of the cycle and present in it. She's gonna try to really kind of push that part of herself
into it.
Hope maybe that helps.
Fair enough. So yeah, you feel this seed absorb this radiant energy that you give off. It seems very accepting of every piece of energy that you feed it. Yeah, you feel in the moments you've given the seed its best shot for what can happen as this is all going on. Yeah, that seems fair enough. There is an old man wandering around as you're sort of doing this, and he seems to be actually tending to a few flowers as he's going at this point. He is covered in tattoos, similar to what Xisa would remember of herself in some ways. And then it dawns on you in the moment, this is the face that you recognize would have been Tandril, a Iron Thrall wizard you guys met early in the campaign. You fought him in the lava city of Felagar back in he was the first Iron Thrall wizard that you guys met back in time. But this man, this old wizened man, seems to be fairly quietly and blankly tending to flowers and plants around this place as he sort of catches an eye and watches what you're doing and says, "So someone else planting as well. It is a nice thing to do."
Isn't that the guy we skinned?
Yes, Xisa has literally skinned this man.
I skinned his body. This is his soul. It's different. And so Xisa stands up and kind of wipes the soil off her hand. Just say, yes, we're hoping for a strong tree to grow from this small seed in the coming days.
That's nice. Well, I'll keep an eye on it for you. It's another nice thing to add to the collection here. We don't have many things from home and from far away. So it's nice that that a few extra things can be planted. I will tend as I tend everything else.
And I thank you for your kindness.
It is nice to see another gardener. And yeah, you don't get the sense he realizes who or what you are, Xisa. He seems relatively unaware of anything of who he was or what went on with you guys in the moment. You don't get the sense of recognition as this is happening.
And Xisa, I don't think is gonna break that for him. I think she would be interested to see if his tattoos are the same.
That is a very, very good point. But yes, in this form, clear of tattoos.
Oh, so he doesn't have any tattoos?
No, doesn't seem to have any visible tattoos. But you definitely recognize the same person.
Have I seen anyone else with tattoos, or just no one with tattoos?
That is a very, very
Because
good point.
I don't have tattoos either. I do, but no one can see them.
Yes, yeah, fair enough. I'm gonna say not yet. No, you have not seen anything over and above the normal at the moment. No wizard type tattoos on anyone as far as you've seen.
Okay. Okay, so then Xisa does this and thanks this former wizard for tending to the tree. I think that's it for her in this scene.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving back to the rest of you. So then, Blóki and Frida, are you attempting to circumvent the Valkyrie guard around Thonir at this point, or what's the thought processes with you guys at the moment?
Well, Blóki's normal approach is just to walk up to people. So he's not really got an idea of how he would sneak to him. We could do that. I could distract them by just walking forward whilst they're busy trying to stop me. You just walk around, have your little chat, and Bob's your uncle.
Well, they seem to know what's going on, so maybe if we just explain, that might be best.
True. Yeah, well,
Wait, I'll
gotta
point,
go,
to
'cause
the
if-
one, I'll point to the one that
Okay.
kept saying he's not ready, so it kind of hinted that he knew what was happening.
Yeah, I can help you with that. So, Frida, you would point out one of the male Valkyries that was there from the last time you visited this time period, and did warn you off. But you, Blóki and Frida, you approaching him, and what are you attempting?
Firstly, just we're here to talk to the carpenter, if you don't mind.
He is grieving dramatically for his lost love. I don't think you would get much you would need. But I get a sense that you're realizing there is more going on here than what first seems now, no?
Yeah. We've met him before, technically, in this night.
He won't be much use to you here. He is more talkative in other parts of the cycle. But I don't know what you would achieve upsetting him here.
Well, you never know. I feel through the several heartbreaks of my life, a chat with someone can at least distract you from the pain. So you never know. This could be a win for both parties.
Make a persuasion check, Blóki. See how you can do. 26. We're not having much luck with him anyways at this point. I don't think it'll get what you want, but if you must speak with him, be brief and keep it simple with him. He's not the man he will be. Yeah. And remember, most do not remember what is going on here. And he does help with kind of ordering some of the other Valkyries that are nearby, who are not understanding your conversation, by the way, to make some room to let you two pass. He says, "Go easy on him."
Can I just ask, have you tried explaining to him in this form what is happening?
Yes, we have. Some of us have tried. Nothing sticks with any of them, so what's the point?
Well, the one in the future seemed to understand what we were saying, and he gave me things to bring back into this time. He was a lot more amenable, and also the Thonir in the middle seemed to... Well, I showed him Hell's stone. We showed him the coin, and he seemed to realize that something bigger was happening.
That is good, that you can get something through to him. But I don't understand the benefit if he cannot remember. But I'm willing to let you try.
Thank you.
Just go easy on him. It's still new for him here. And yeah, you can make your way through. The younger man, the what he calls himself, the simple carpenter, clearly a warrior anyway, but at this point was focused on building the halls of the slain and getting on with what was needed. But he's hammering away. And they told me that they would keep me from everyone and leave me be. Now you two visit. What can I do?
Well, honestly, just first of all, condolences, and well, how's it all going? I know it's a hard question to ask, but
I concentrate on my haul. I have solace in the fact that I'm building something that's going to last a long time. Here, on this land. It's time to put some roots down, and this is the place to do it. Maybe with time, I can get on with things. But for now, I build.
so you think settling here, building here, making something permanent will heal what you have lost, or at least make it more manageable?
It gives me purpose when I don't feel I have any. Not anymore. So I'll help these poor souls that find their way here. I will give them what they've been told will be their afterlife. I will make it for them as it should be. As that was my dying point, is I swore an oath. An oath to Grimir that I would serve in the afterlife. For everyone. Someone had to.
It's very noble, very kind. I hear you were quite partial to adventuring on your ships and going far out, fighting dragons and whatnot. So to give up all of that must have been a hard choice to make as well.
Someone had to do it. And in my dying breath, I made my choices. And this is my lot. So I build this now for everyone else.
Is it true you have plans or have destroyed the trees that are used to make this and your boats?
Yeah, he looks saddened by that one, and he does say, yeah, I used the last of the trees. Well, the wood over there is the last of the trees for this. I've purposed it to this great hall, and once it is built, it will stand for all time till Ragnarok. But yeah, I do regret that all of the trees are lost. That is a shame.
What made you use them all? Surely you could have chosen to build the hall slightly smaller. The use of all the trees is a choice, and I'm wondering why. If it brings you sadness, then why do so?
Make a persuasion check, Blóki. That's got to be another roll for that. Hmm. 22. He thinks for a little bit, but then he does actually end up saying, there were things out there on these lands that I think these people are better off disconnected from. This will keep them safe. So yes, I used all the woods for my plan, then set it down that way, so that none shall travel. None shall have to face what I have faced in these lands again, and they will be safe on the mainland here. It is the only way.
What kind of beings are you talking about?
And he sort of gets a bit more gruff at this point, Blóki, but he's basically like, there are things that people only dreamed of on our mainlands. I've fought dragons. I've fought icemen. All of which can kill most people here without a blink. So no, I think it's best we separate everyone from that. And so I have. In using the last of the woods for my purpose, there will be no more.
Blóki's gonna look over at Frida because long-term consequences were not obviously thought out here. But Blóki doesn't know what it is to lead people to make those kind of decisions. He's looking to Frida to see if there's any kind of empathy, understanding that Blóki could not have as someone who has only really served his own individual needs.
Yeah, does Frida speak up in these moments, or is this where this conversation ends? Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of what, because this version of Thonir is not helpful. So
no, he's definitely not helpful. Yeah, you have been warned of that as well. But then he is new here; his choices are all fresh. So there is a bit of that, Frida, but and you don't have to follow it up. It could be that that is enough of this conversation for this time. You don't have to carry it on, if that makes sense. Does she stay quiet, or is there anything else that she needs?
This time she will, but if we come back to this occasion, I think she's going to do something. If we come back to this sort of timeline, have the exact same conversation again with him, probably.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, very much. I will say, Frida, for your sort of reference, the early parts of this conversation were probably identical to the first time that you went through. Whether or not your dungeon master could actually make it like that, but yeah, in theory, it's a very repeating pattern until conversation points come up from yourselves. So yeah, he will solemnly turn and continue on with his great works. Xisa will return to you all, having done what she has done. But yeah, is there any more?
You will never guess who I just saw.
The idea of Xisa talking like that is really funny. Oh my god!
I wish I would have made that character choice at the very beginning, but unfortunately,
Valley girl. Let's go.
But yeah, so yeah, a seed has been planted. Is there anything else? Yeah.
We were able to discuss with Thonir about the destruction of the notes, or if he has done that yet.
I will.
We didn't get on.
Yeah, I will. With your 26, because obviously it didn't come up in the moment, but I will say, Thonir implied that anything to do with his notes were lost a long time ago. He does not know where they are. I would allow Blóki an insight check to see whether he feels that is true or not. With the 21, you realised in the moments that
I rolled twice.
Yeah, so 24 was the one that came in first.
Okay, so that's the one that came high. Okay, so with that, you realise he was being begrudgingly. He had more of an inkling than he let on, and I will say with Blóki's level of persuasion, he will let you know that they were lost a long time ago, but somewhere around the buildings of the everlasting goats, so by the well or over that way, but he has not seen them in a long time. Is the extra info you would gain.
I will say that, and also mention that apparently the beasties are beyond our comprehension, and he will not tell us what is beyond this island.
Okay. So yeah, anything else in this time frame that you guys would be attempting?
If the schematics for the ships were lost in the settlement, then we should probably look for them there in this part of the loop, because it would have been the closest time to when they were lost. Searching tomorrow or the next day, when the time jumps further away, they could be moved or destroyed, or any number of things could happen.
So are you guys going to make your way to the settlement, or are you going to go to the well first of these two places that you were told about? Which one do you wish to visit first?
Which place was
So he said round the settlement or near the well, but that was a long time ago. So yeah, there was two possibles. They're in the same location area. But are you guys visiting the well, or are you visiting the settlement with the dwarves and the everlasting milk goats that you've seen before?
I feel like logically, if I was to hide something, it would be near a well. I fear that putting it near a place where goats reside could get it chomped.
It's a fair comment.
So I would personally go to the well just for my own burying habits.
If everybody's okay with that, I'll move you guys to the well.
I mean, it's as good a guess as any, right?
It is a reasonable point for sure on that one. So yeah, you guys make your way to a new location, the well here on that one. There is a strange trail ending in a quiet meadow. There is a herd of elk foraging around the outskirts. In the center of the clearing is a large drinking well, but it is built with assorted stones. A winged woman leans against the well and glances in your direction as you enter the clearing. And she, before she returns her attention to the elk herd for a moment, and that is this woman. And a second, let me bring her through. Sort of an older Valkyrie woman seems to be there, and she seems to be looking around, keeping an eye out on what's going on around with these elk as you guys are approaching this glowing well that seems to be in the centers of this place. And she sort of nods politely at you all as you're sort of entering the clearing, but she's not overly interested unless you approach her.
Does she seem like she holds the animosity towards Xisa that the rest of the Valkyrie do?
There is... make an insight check, Xisa.
I changed my dice to be more angelic.
Fair enough. Yeah, she's hard to read, but the animosity thing is quite strong, Xisa. So yeah, you feel uncomfortable that this might be problematic still.
Yeah. Okay. So then Xisa will again hang back and let others address her.
Fair enough. So, Blóki, Frida, are you approaching this woman, or are you investigating around? What's the thought process here?
I'm assuming this woman is very aware that we're there.
Yes, she's definitely been polite enough to acknowledge your presence, but she hasn't sought you out in the moment. She seems very interested, and she appears to be counting the elk in number.
Okay. I do feel like we need to talk to her. If we just digging. That's just weird. She'll
may know
try and talk to us anyway.
Yeah. She also might know what's happening, and she remembers each time, which may be helpful.
True.
Blóki, unfortunately, you are the best talker. Much persuasive.
Like Blóki cracks his knuckles and then walks forward, and he's like, "Hi, we're nice to meet you. What's your name?"
My name is Hurst. I'm one of the tenders here. I work the well sometimes, and I help with the elk and look after them. But how can I help you?
Well, we're new to the area. We're just having a wander around.
Ah, so you've been scouting around yourselves, huh?
Oh, yeah. We've been to the hall. We've seen some goats that supply mead, which is mad, I must admit, but pretty cool.
It is strange, I will give you that. Have you seen, on your travels at all, a very large white elk?
No, these are the first elk I've seen, and looks over at everyone else to kind of include them into the conversation.
Yeah,
essentially.
she sort of has a slight frustration on her face, and she's like, I can't believe I've lost him again. He keeps wandering off. Look, listen, if you do happen to spot him, his name is Oakthorn, and I will need him to come back and help with the well at some point. The blasted thing is completely dry when he's gone. I'm supposed to keep an eye on him, you see, but I can't fly so well now.
I'm not sure if this is going to make me sound incredibly ignorant and stupid. How does an elk help with getting water to a well?
Oh, I wish I knew. How do the goats make the mead? But it seems to be how this place works. If he's not here by the well runs dry and you can't seem to drink from here.
Does he wander off often?
He has had his moments, but this is the longest he's been gone. Now everybody seems to be doing nothing but drink the mead, as there is just no water for anything else. I feel like I have failed in my task here.
Oh no, to be honest, it's the fault of the elk for walking off. I'm sure he's aware of what his duties are, and he's just gone meandering. It's nothing to do with your abilities, I'm
He's
sure.
such a stubborn one. She starts slightly angry here. He's so stubborn. Well, he never does as I say. I talk to him every day, all day. And yes, she starts to go on a tirade about this talking elk, or she implies this talking elk. But yeah, she's very frustrated with her job and constantly losing this elk.
Well, we can have a look for you. Are there common places that he goes?
No, I don't know. He disappears into the forests, but keeping track of the old thing is hard work. But yeah, sorry, I've the worries of an old woman I've put upon you. I've too much already. I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries. I fear there's not much else to do in the afterlife than help each other, so why not?
Thank you.
Let me just ask my friends first. I'm gonna just put everyone into a huddle and go. So the way she's talking makes it sound like she isn't aware of the time loop, as she's moaning about this elk going off daily. I feel like that's a normal linear mentality rather than jumping around.
And you believe that this elk is important to what we're doing?
I believe that it's nice to help this woman. And also, I think it's important for people to drink water, so I don't know. Also, maybe if we take her away from the well, at least a couple of us can stay behind and dig.
We could perhaps speak to Broxler and see if she has seen white elk.
If the elk is talking, maybe it knows, it remembers every single time the time jump, so it just walks away because it knows there's no point helping.
Does the elk talk?
You don't know that for certain. She talked like she was talking to it. That's not quite the same as it's definitely a talking elk.
Yeah, I talk to my dog. That doesn't mean he answers.
Again, plausible.
I think so.
Yeah, she was implying that. Maybe more than it should. But yes, there is a bit of that on that front. But yeah. Do you guys press this woman at the well anymore, or what's the thought process, or are you moving on, or trying something else here? What's the plan?
I don't know. This might be that we can do it. We have time. We can.
Why not?
We have all the time. We need the tree to grow.
Well, it sounds like we have all the time, and possibly what changes we make could affect the cycle. We brought the seed back with us. Maybe if we were to locate this elk, there could be another change that could have a positive outcome for us.
Right. We need to explore the island anyway. We might as well keep the an eye out for this elk.
Again, true. Can't hurt as something on that front. So yeah, are you doing anything more at the well itself, or are you guys going to move on, head towards the goat milking facilities, or what's the thought process?
The well is glowing right now, right?
Yes, yeah, sort of a blue light coming off its CC. Yes, yeah.
But it's dry. Has anybody looked into the well, like down to the bottom?
You definitely can have a look. It looks pretty light at the bottom as you do. This woman doesn't stop you from doing anything like that. She just intimates that it's just run dry because there's no elk anywhere near it. But you spend a bit of time here trying to have a look. Are you going to try and make your way down? What are you thinking?
I think Xisa is going to excuse herself from the group to say, "Let me see something for a moment," and she's gonna walk up. And is there like a pebble or anything like that, or like a rock?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, easily enough. Yeah.
Okay. Zisa's going to pick up the rock and look at it curiously, and then she's going to smile as something kind of realizes, and she's going to cast light on the rock. So she's gonna do that. It's making me do something here, so I'm just gonna. I don't know what I just hit save. I don't know why it's boom. Ta-da, I guess I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get it into the chat. And then she's going to drop the rock into the well so that she could see what's all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, so there is this blue eerie light coming from it as you do, but yeah, you drop. It takes maybe 8-9 seconds of drop before there's a and a sort of a thud. From what you can see, yeah, it is a dried, basically dried bed at the bottom of the well from the light that you can see. No signs of any water, but no signs of anything else as you're looking around at it in the moments.
Okay. Can Xisa, I guess my owl never died like I did, but I'm not sure if this is going to work. Can I summon my owl from the pocket?
You cannot hear. No, that does not seem to work when you attempt it in this realm for some reason.
Okay. Okay, then I think Xisa will go ahead and call that done when she gets back to the group. She'll just say, when I have a moment, I will see if I can't ritually cast Find Familiar to bring my owl back, and then perhaps it could go into the well, see if there's anything down at the bottom of the bed, but it is dry all the way down.
Okay. So yeah, so you guys investigate any more, or are you moving to the goats, or are you going further afield, I suppose is the question.
I think we can explore a little bit, right? We have time. We can go see different parts of the island, I assume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so are you going to go back to the goats? Are you going to go to the orchards or the fields in the north and bits up that way? Or obviously back towards the halls, all true as well. Yeah, what's the thought process right now?
Anyone have any preference?
No.
Yeah, same.
Let's pick one at random. Let's go to the orchards.
Done.
To which one? The orchards, was that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah, no problem. We can spend the time. You pass the everlasting goats that are being milked as before, and you guys do make your way up to the orchards at the top. So yeah, beyond the halls, there are some plains of clusters of tall evergreens, oaks, and other trees. The forests are not as thick here as leading to the hall, but still plentiful. There is a small orchard here of apple trees with crisp red apples on branches and many cores of apples littered around on the grounds. On the branches grow clusters of mistletoe with smooth evergreen leaves and clusters of white berries. There appears to be a couple of Valkyrie that seem to be tending to the orchards, and they're walking around, looking and tending to some of the mistletoe that seems to be growing on these white berries that are here on these mistletoe, and sort of slowly but surely some of them are being picked and put into baskets as this is going on. Other than Xisa and her usual aversion with the Valkyries, they seem to just be getting on with what they're doing, but nothing that out of the ordinary. But what is there anything here that would be of interest?
I think
We asked them if they've seen an elk.
Yeah, and again, Zisa's gonna make herself scarce because it's dealing with Valkyrie. So while they're doing that, something that we haven't been doing is like the gathering of things, you know? And we're in a celestial realm. So I think Xisa, while they're doing that and trying to like not hinder their chances of actually getting good answers, can she look around for anything that could be used or utilized at all?
I would need an Arcana check from you, please.
Arcana. Okay, I was expecting nature, but I'll take
Arcana.
Arcana's fine.
There's something more going on.
They are the same number, so. Okay, Arcana. Shisha. Oh, it was an 18, and then it went to 2.
Yeah, fair enough. You don't get much of a sense of things looking around. I mean, the apples look very vibrant and tasty, at least. But the mistletoe and the berries as well. Not getting much of a thing, Xisa, as you're looking around. But they're about the two things you could gather right now in this place. Would be some of the apples and some of this mistletoe berries would be the other two. But you're not enthused by any of them in the moment.
Gotcha. Well, while they're doing whatever, Zisa's doing this. So that's what she's doing.
Fair enough. Well, Blóki, I think you can give me a persuasion check on the Valkyries to see if you can get anything out of them. A 15 on that one. They say, I haven't seen him in a long time, but he should be down by the well, but I'm guessing if you're asking, she's lost him again. No, I haven't seen him around this part, I'm afraid. He's not easy to spot.
Is there a normal spot that you know that he goes to? Rumors on the winds for it?
He tends to be in the fields beyond, and he sort of points to the north, but no one has seen him in a fair while.
Okay, thank you very much.
And they go on continuing collecting some of the apples and some of the berries, etc. Xisa, do you collect any of that, or do you leave alone?
She might collect like one or two of each different things just to have, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we'll put a couple of apples and a couple of the mistletoe berries in your collection for now. Okay, cool. Are you going to follow that rough lead further north, Blóki, or is that going to be left for another time?
Blóki would be willing if everyone else is against it, though. Blóki will not. He's not going there alone. No. He's not wandering into the north by himself.
I'll go with you, Blóki. It's okay.
Yay!
Sure, I'll join you.
Fair enough. Okay, so you make your way out further, and then what you have is there are several wooden benches that have apparently been taken from the halls and set amid the fields of tall grass. Armor and weapons are draped over the benches, beside which there are several empty baskets. In the fields beyond, Valkyrie walk, feeding and patting down a herd of eight-legged elk, or the equivalent of, I guess, Celapia. Many of the Valkyrie carry large baskets as this is going on. But yeah, they seem to be tending livestock. Yeah, this is an image for Xisa in some ways, because it's more normal life of Valkyries, I guess, when they're not tending to the dead and bringing them here. This is more, simple life work is probably the best way of putting it that she's seeing going on from these people. There's still the odd look, Xisa, that has kept you at bay on that one.
Once a pariah, always a pariah. I got it.
But yeah, Blóki, you can roll me a investigation check for here, and I will see if you can pick up some rumors or anything from the Valkyrie up here.
Let's go.
12, okay, and then I can take a 1d4 from you, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you do speak with a few of the Valkyrie. The only thing they do talk about is that they talk about Valkyrie not flying and having to walk everywhere on the island. They explain more in depth about the storms over the seas make flight nearly impossible. So it seems that. That is going on. There is a younger Valkyrie amongst them, and he seems to think that might be old superstition. But he seems not quite brave enough to test it, if that makes sense. But he is certainly he's certainly sort of intimated that he's being a bit more bolshy about the possibility. As this is going on. As for Oakthorn, the missing elk, you said again, you hear stories that he's sometimes seen in this location, but no one has seen him or knows anything of him at this time.
Okay, yeah, I would definitely tell Xisa about the Valkyrie flying thing, because probably interesting to her.
Yes, Skald mentioned that flight here was ill-advised. So I've taken her at her... She flaps her wings a little bit. She's still kind of getting used to having them. But she doesn't rise or anything like that.
Should maybe give it a try at some point. I mean, I'm assuming you were able to fly when you were here last, and maybe whatever has caused the flying issue doesn't affect those that weren't here for it.
I believe
We have time.
True, but we don't know what would happen if I were to fly and be struck down. Things here can't die, but perhaps I would lose the ability to remember the cycles. I am curious, but the risk, I believe, is too great at this time. Perhaps once we get out on the seas in this land and get away from this island specifically, maybe there would be more of an opportunity.
Fair enough. So yeah, we've had time to walk across the island, so we're getting into the mid-afternoons. You probably have enough time for one last thing before it would become evening here in this land. So, and the cycle would begin again. So, is there one last thing that you would want to attempt to travel to or do in this section of time, or what's the thoughts?
Have we been anywhere near where, Xisa's parents have said to be?
You haven't gone past the grounds there. since you left the halls. So it's possible.
I think Xisa would like to maybe walk by there and see if any of the faces spark any sort of memory, or if they have any sort of distant disdain.
No problem. So yeah, you guys make your way back, and you do walk past the halls, past where you've planted the tree. Yeah, as this,
I point out where that is to everyone, by the way, so everyone knows.
Fair enough. But yeah, no, as the time passes, you see, yeah, there just isn't that tug. There isn't anyone that looks more oddly at Xisa than she would expect as you're actually walking by. But yeah, it just doesn't happen for her in that time period as this is happening.
Okay. A little disappointed, but she doesn't verbalize or anything like that. So whatever else needs to happen can happen.
Okay. Unless there's anything else that you guys want to do in this part of the cycle, I will have you guys sleep, and you will move to the next steps. So yes, you take again time in the mead halls, drinking as you see fit. But time does pass, and another morning will arise. As we move into the next cycle, and you guys wake up in the halls. The hall is once more fully built and complete around you. Thonir is in his full regalia and sitting amongst everybody, and there is smiling, and there is much jubilance as in the hall at breakfast when you guys make your way down. And yeah, if you do pop your heads out the door, you do see a large golden tree has grown on the outskirts of the actual building now. Bear with me, bring the right building version through. But yeah, the large golden tree has sort of grown up in that position where you planted it, Xisa. Only that hours before, but obviously much time has passed in this land as this is all going on. What's the next steps?
Have we figured out the sort of time difference to Grimir? Is a day passing here the same as a day?
Yeah, you don't
there?
know. You don't know. You just, as far as you're aware, this place is just trapped in a cycle. Whether that has any relevance outside of this place, you have no frame of reference to know. Is the honest truth. Yeah, the cycle repeats. Time passes. Whether any time outside is passing, yeah, you have no frame of reference, I'm afraid. Whether this is a good or a bad thing, that it takes time, you don't know. But there is definitely differences now. You have managed to produce a giant golden tree, bright, vibrant, and beautiful. There are plenty of people wandering around, milling about, and some are sitting and almost praying under the tree as you see it outside. There is definitely at least differences.
Was there anything that we needed to accomplish in this part of the cycle?
I mean, we can look. Are there any people that seem interesting?
Are there any
that were necessarily there last time?
Any interesting people around this time, on this point? That is a good point. I think we can have a group perception check. Let's see how that's going to go. 1 second. Let me see how that will be. 1 second.
Are you setting up a skill challenge?
I am indeed, yes.
Yay!
Let's see what the answer will be. Let's give this a go and see what you'll get.
Ooh. Neat.
So yes, we're going to go for a group one and see if you can pass the check.
Ooh.
Those some mid numbers, gang. Those some mid
Some
numbers.
really mid.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so
the
yeah.
massive word failure is a big foot in the teeth. I must admit.
So yes,
Really sets it.
unfortunately, yeah, looking around in this point in the time cycle, looking outside here, yeah, Xisa, you do spot the garden Theandral again, the guy that was tending the plants. He seems to still be here. He seems to be praying outside with the tree, etc. as well. But no, you don't spot anything desperately new in amongst these people here as you're looking around. But there is a nicely looking giant tree that is looking strong and yes, large enough to be of use is probably the best way of putting it.
Do we need to fell the tree and somehow hang onto it when the time shifts? Because I'm just thinking, if we convince him to build a ship in the past, but the tree is still going to be a seedling, then.
Interesting.
How big is the tree now? Is it like a big, healthy tree?
It's a big, healthy tree. It's still, it's got age on it, but it's not at the end of its life, if that makes sense. But it's a strong, healthy tree, would be the best way of putting it.
The older Thonir seems to be the most understanding of our situation, so if he can build, I don't know, maybe the tree won't go back to a seedling on when we go back in time.
I believe that making a ship is going to take more than a day. It might be something that we need to set Runar to task now, so that it is complete when next we jump.
Isn't this the last cycle anyway?
No,
so if we convince them now,
this is the midpoint of the cycle.
My mistake.
Yeah. That's okay.
Okay,
That's all
so
right. That's why I'm just trying to make sure we're on the same page. Yeah, 3 points. You're in the middle one.
Right.
I also have a slight concern. That there seems to be a religion now growing around this tree, and I feel if we turn up, or anyone turns up with an axe to make a boat, there may be some issues.
Well, we could get the approval of Thonir to build a ship. Perhaps we can even get him to lend some sort of godly aid to make it completed quicker.
But
This is the height of his power right now.
Our tree. we grew the thing.
Yeah, we should see where he stands with the tree, because he also may be part of this loving the tree group.
Tree cult.
Tree cult, yes, if you will.
We're dealing with Viking tree huggers now, apparently, yes. So yeah, you guys, you know where he is in the halls. It's far easier to approach him at this time period if that is what you're going for. But yeah, is that what you do?
How do we persuade someone to cut down a magical tree that's all of a sudden grown, build a ship for us in the past / future /
I think, first of all, we need to get him on board with the idea of allowing people to travel out, because he seemed very much like, I have made it so people can't do that out of the goodness of my heart. We have to convince him that that's a good thing, and then convince him that we would like a boat built.
Maybe.
We need a good reason about why we would need to leave this island, and what for.
Well, for us to get answers and to end this loop, that's going to be... Again, the older Thonir seemed to understand what was happening. This one was more
straightforward.
Well, last time he threatened me, so don't know if he's gonna be as easy to explain this to.
Well, the benefit of the time loop is if we fuck it up, hopefully we can try again later.
Something I'm also curious about is if we go through again, will he give us the seed again, or will the tree remain but just go back to being a seed?
Oh, paradoxes make my brain hurt.
Well, I would.
That's why I don't agree with time travel as a concept.
I would have to talk to
Playing
him again.
D&D Majora's Mask.
Yes, a little bit.
It is. It's literally what we are playing.
I would have to talk to him again because in the future, it would be the day that I asked for the seed, so he would have no knowledge of giving us the seed. So I'd have to try to convince him to give us the seed again every single time that we go into the future.
Assuming that's how it works.
I see, yeah.
Wait, doesn't the tree itself have more seeds? So we could just take those seeds and just every loop plant like 10 and then 20
True.
and then
I think let's focus on let's focus on trying to get the ship built for the next time jump, because that would be the most ideal situation. If you guys can talk to the boat builder, I will try to convince Thonir with the help of our bard.
Blóki's looking nervous.
Who has +8 more than me in persuasion.
True.
Fair enough. Okay, so yeah, you're splitting into two groups. One to go to speak.
Yeah, I
with
guess we're
Runar
gonna divide and conquer. Yeah.
All right. So who's going to see Runar? And who's...
I guess Xisa, since she knows the name of his beloved wife.
Okay. What's Baldor doing? Is he joining her or following
yeah.
her?
Stay as close to Xisa as possible at all.
At all
Yes,
times.
That's
the objective.
the MO. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough on that one. Okay, yeah. So this will play out into two sections as this is all going on. But yeah, Blóki and the rest of you, it is very easy to find Thonir. He is in good spirits, in good mood, and he is drinking and passing out mead horns as you guys come around and yeah, so drink, celebrate, come, and yeah, he seems happy enough as all this is going on. But what are you attempting to pull off here with him?
First of all, is there any change in like iconography in their building to see if there is a pre-aforementioned tree cult link?
Is there
I
now
think
a tree
they're
hugger?
praying to Thonir, but just using the tree as.
Yeah,
as-
Use him. He's
think they're
inside.
I don't think they're actually praying to the
To
The
tree.
guy who was
tree,
praying
yeah.
to it before was like, he said he would be the caretaker of the tree. Like
Yeah.
he offered. So
Yeah, there it is a thing. But yeah, Blóki, yeah, you don't see any iconography of secret tree hugger cults. So you have at least have that sparing of you for the moment, Blóki. But yeah, he's there. He is jovial enough as and talking with everyone. So yeah, as you approach, what are you guys attempting here?
I'll give Blóki the Hellstone and the coin because that helped us kind of get his mind into understanding that something is happening last time, even though he did threaten me, but
Mhm.
Blóki has
Yeah.
more of a chance of talking out of that.
You knew, drink, come, join the rest of the people in the halls of the slain here. You're all welcome as all to the afterlife.
Your welcome is much appreciated, my lord. Would it be all right if my friend and I sought counsel with you, had a quick chat?
Here for everyone, including the new. What can I do for you two? Are you lost? Are you Do I have to convince you you're dead? There's plenty of food and wine around. You should get the point. And he smiles.
I think we
anyway.
meant
I
more
promise.
privately. as
Yeah.
well, not in the middle of a hall, if that's okay.
I can take a few minutes. Let's walk outside. And yeah, he introduces himself properly, goes through his list of names, and yeah, obviously it takes in your two names in the moment, and he says, I know it's difficult getting used to being dead, but there will come a time when you will rise one last time again for battle. Until that time, you train, you drink, eat, and feast, and enjoy your time here.
Well, so I promise you, we do not need convincing that we are dead. If I'm being honest, I think it's more difficult for us to convince you that we aren't new here.
He's quizzical at that. What do you mean?
We have been here for some days. He kind of like Blóki kind of shrugs, because he's not entirely sure on that. There has been the time flow here has been strange for us, and it seems that no one else has experienced it the same way that we have.
He seems very confused looking at you.
We have watched you, broken-hearted, isolate yourself from your people here, watched you build this very hall in your grief. We have spoken to you as you are now before, and have even spoken to an older version of you.
You even threatened me last time you were in this form, or this age.
Why would I do that?
Well, it was our knowledge thinking you were in our sort of time when you would know that hell is still alive. I may have come across quite brash and thought that you know, and you...
Yeah. And to save
Quite
you all
angry.
the moments of it, but the story plays out very similarly to how it played out last time. Frida, you are threatened. You are. You then have to explain, as you did before, about hell, and you do show the stone, and he does accept it begrudgingly that this is from her. But yeah, this is very much a repeat of the conversation you had last time. But he does accept that there is something more going on.
Do you have recollection many, many years ago, as I say, of you building this place? You were... Valkyries made sure that none of the dead could come and speak to you, so you were left alone to your musings. But while you might remember their faces, two people did approach you and talk to you about your choices of cutting down the trees, of building this place, and of stopping sailing. Do you remember that conversation at all?
And he just says, no, he doesn't remember any of that. But I did get lucky. One tree did grow. So not all was lost. I was quite glad of that. I didn't realize at the time what I had done.
It was not luck, but our intervention that made that tree appear. We got hold of a seed, planted it around the time you built this place, and when we woke up, it was the time now, and the tree was fully grown.
He doesn't fully understand, but he then I owe you some gratitude in what you've done. You rectified what I made wrong by cutting down all of the trees all those years ago. So I have to thank you for that, if that is your story is true. I get a sense something is true about it.
I must admit, our reasoning for planting the tree wasn't necessarily out of love for nature. We understand that you don't want people here travelling further than this island for their own safety because of horrors unimaginable, as you had told us previously, including dragons and ice folk.
Eyes go a little wide that you know some of that, but yeah, no travel will happen in this land. It is not safe for folk.
We were hoping for that to be lifted and for a boat to be built so that we could travel further. There's instances with Ragnarok coming up forward from our timeline that don't make sense. And us being here isn't going to solve what's to come.
He is not receptive, Blóki, to what you're saying at this point.
I didn't think it would be.
He is... the tree is very sacred now, and seems to be well ingrained in the timeline. He does not believe that travel outside of these lands is something that should be done, or at this point in time, there's no... Yeah, I can't give you a role for it because there is no convincing him of that, if that makes sense, in this period of time. But no, he is adamant that it is sacred and it will stay. Is the gist of the conversation.
Blóki will look at Frida because he's willing to bow out at that. There's no... it's what Blóki thought was going to happen with this tree being special. And probably we need to talk to the others about it going forward.
Unless Frida has anything else she adds to that conversation, Joe, I'll move it on.
It's not going to help. I'm going to at least try to explain that we think that the dragons are the key to getting out of this, and I understand that he will not like that idea.
Yeah, and
but future him floated the idea, so I need to try and to explain that to him in a way that is understanding and...
Yeah, I think Frida gets threatened again. It doesn't go down with this version of Thonir at the moment, and in this time period. So it falls on very deaf ears as this plays out, I would say, on that one. And Frida again a little crestfallen from her god in this time frame. I
don't want to mess up our already messed up perception of how this time's worked, but if he doesn't even remember us, if we talk to this person to build a boat, is he even going to remember doing that? And it's just going to the tree's just going to stay there anyway.
Yeah, but it's important to get his ideology on it about whether or not we to do it sneakily and whatnot. But I don't know.
No, fair enough. All right, so this scene will end. I think we'll have a quick break for a drink, and then we will come back and we will deal with Runar and the other two for a moment in this second middle section of the cycle. But yes, okay, yeah, so we are back. So yeah, we had that conversation with Thonir on that side of things. Baldor and Xisa, you do go find Runar at the sparring grounds, and Xisa having the extra piece of information as to his wife's name being an advantage. You are able to start conversations with him on an easier footing very quickly. Sort of roughly in brief, what is Xisa trying to set up in these moments with Runar, or get across to him or find out from him?
Xisa is trying to get across to him that there will come a time where another ship will be needed, and it will have to come from the tree growing near Thonir's hall.
Mm-hmm.
And that when we set sail, that it will also need a capable crew, of which he is invited to be a part of.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, he obviously, hearing his wife's name and no one knowing any of that, he is receptive to this quicker and understands a little bit what you're saying. And he'll say, it will take me a very long time to build a ship. And without my notes, I don't even know if it is totally possible, but I will try, but it will take me many years, many centuries to pull off what you're asking. But it would be my greatest work, and I would be honored to do it. And I would be honored to join the crew that would leave afterwards.
Naturally.
But he says, he says something along the lines of, but then you must act soon, for I will need the materials. And it will not go down well when you do.
Yes. That is true. We do have our comrades speaking to Thonir about that now, and we're hoping that he is receptive. If so, then we would get the materials to you as soon as possible, so that you may begin your work. What happened to your notes?
It's not particularly that they were mine, but I saw what Thonir had of the original designs that I worked on and what was left, but they were lost a long time ago. I might be able to pull it off without them, but it would be easier with them. I do not know where they are. It's been a long time since I've seen them.
Well, allow us to reconvene with the rest of the crew of this ship that is yet to be, and we will hopefully be able to return to you with some materials to use.
Then I will make my way to the shores, to the south. There I would plan from what I would do.
If we do not return to you by sunset, and we will hopefully speak to you soon after, even though Xisa knows that is not what will happen.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, there is a difference in his knowledge and yours. Yes, so yeah, you've sort of teed him up. He's explained it's a difficult task. It may be harder without notes, but that's the sort of gist of it. As you guys return together on the outside of the halls. Maybe Blóki and Freedy are looking slightly more despondent, as Baldor and Xisa seem to have had better luck with their task as you fill each other in on what has gone on.
Runar is receptive. If the materials are provided, he will make us a ship. He does say that it will be difficult to do without his original notes. It would take him a very long time. He said centuries, but as we know that we will go to sleep and wake up centuries later, that is of little concern to us. So it sounds like we could actually get a ship as long as we have the permission of Thonir to cut the tree down.
Blóki's like shaking his head. That tree is now sacred. He seemed, one, furious at the notion of us cutting it down, and two, equally upset about the idea that we would be leaving this island at all. He has no intention to let anyone leave, and especially not to harm that tree. So if in the next cycle, hopefully we might get another seed, which means we can have 2 trees, and then it won't be a special tree anymore because there'll be 2 trees. Or we can hide that tree better.
Well, Roxler said that the tree has to be planted on this central island, which is where Thonir is pretty set on having his keep. I don't believe there's a place that we could grow a tree that would not be seen by him. He would need to give us permission. But I know
But then
Rauðr said,
we jump through the cycles and just keep planting trees, and when there's hundreds of them, then one is no longer going to be special.
that is
Thousands of
if the
trees.
tree persists. When we restart the cycle, it might not even be planted. But you did mention
Well, we
maybe
take the seeds
harvesting,
from
yes, this tree and
this
planting or making it less special, more of a sacred grove where one could be taken without as much of an impact. Maybe we could do that. Can Xisa check out this tree and like see if it's a seed-bearing tree, if there are any others to be harvested for anything?
Yeah, no, fair enough. You absolutely can go through and take a look at the vibrant tree that is now growing there.
Oh, my template's still there. You can get rid of that. Sorry.
Target the tree, fireball.
Target the tree right now. Here we go. Let's get rid of that. So yes, there is this vibrant tree that is lush and grown. It doesn't take long, Xisa, to realize there are no seeds. It is not clearly the time of year, or there are none on this magical tree when you guys look at it. There are a few raiders milling about, a couple praying nearby the tree. It's a beautiful sight to behold. It's luscious and vibrant, and giving off a sort of a soft golden light would be the best way of putting it.
I can walk under the tree and it goes all.
Yes, you can do it. You can walk under the tree if you so wish. You will get to the tree trunk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can Xisa speak to the caregiver of the tree, the wizard?
The former wizard, yes. No,
Yeah.
fair enough. And that one says, "Greetings, I am one of those that tend to the tree and the plants here. How can I help you?"
Yes, we see that you have done well. The tree flourishes in your care.
Many things do in these lands now. It's a good sign that these trees are growing once again.
Yes.
We take it as a sign of great hope.
We would look to expand that hope. Do you know much of the type of tree this is? When it would bear fruit, seeds, anything of that sort?
We have attempted to see if it would, but it has never, ever supplied any seed. I don't know if it's something to do with the magical origins of this type of tree, but it does not seem to get to that point in its cycle. Or maybe it is too young. We do not know. But no, I have tended it for many years, and it has never borne any seed.
And Xisa, she is going to cast detect magic on the tree. And just to kind of get a vibe for it,
Yeah, absolutely. It is giving off many different magic auras on that one. But I think what you would get with detect magic is it is impervious to most forms of damage. Would probably be something that would come off of this. I'll give you that. And you think only magical slashing damage would do any sort of damage to this tree. Everything else is almost indestructible too, from what you can tell from your detecting magic on the actual tree itself.
Okay, so Xisa places her hand on the trunk of the tree, and her eyes kind of flash over white, as she casts detect magic on it. And then she'll nod to the former wizard, and just say, "We appreciate all the work that you've been doing."
Well, thank you. And he seems confused because he doesn't recognize you.
So she'll go back to the group and just say, "It is possible that this tree is still too young to produce seed. Perhaps waiting a day when the tree is even older, maybe it would be more the word for making seeds. I don't know. Sorry.
Of an age, yeah, or something. Yeah,
Of an
fair
age,
enough.
yeah.
I see what you're saying.
But she will say something that I did discover is that it would require slashing from a magical item to be chopped down. Otherwise, it is nearly impervious to any other form of damage." And she looks at Rauðr and axe.
Rauðr is already smiling and holding axe.
So when the time comes, it would seem that that task would most likely fall to you.
I'm really annoyed. Blóki doesn't have this nature knowledge, but I do. I've put it in the chat about what we can do with it if anyone has nature. Don't. Blóki will not.
Xisa has nature.
Talking about trying to propagate it, fair enough.
You can propagate a tree if you take its if you take good roots or like a strong branch.
Yeah, I mean, I can. I feel like, and that's not something that we think the raiders have tried, though. That's the thing.
That's a good point. I will save you the heart of it. I will say that the gardener has tried propagating the tree in the past to try and help alleviate that one as a point for now.
Okay.
Yeah, you get 3 wishes. You can't wish for more wishes. It's the same problem.
Yeah, but Xisa does say, if we can get through another cycle with more trees, and then maybe it would be less precious to Thonir. We know that Runar is amenable to building a ship. He would have an easier time doing it if we were to get his notes. So we need more tree, and the notes would make the task easier. I think those are the 2 things that we should focus on as we move forward through these cycles if we are to continue to repeat them.
Yeah, I mean, I will say for you, Xisa, that the tree in front of you is very full, very large in stature. It is not a small tree by any stretch. It's had centuries.
Is it anywhere near the size that Frida saw it?
Yes, it would be about the size that Frida saw it. Yes.
Annoying, because we can't talk Thonir into cutting it down, but this is the size Frida saw it, so she's assuming this is when it needs to get cut down.
Well, if we go to sleep and then wake up and it is the same size but just older and more decrepit, we would know that this is the time. And we already know that Thonir will give you a seed at the end of the day, and we can start anew and see if we can't find a different way.
So is that the plan? Are we playing through the cycles and see how it plays out this time? I would truncate it into brief how it would play out, but we could definitely move through the cycles that way if you see fit. If there's nothing else you'd be trying this cycle this time in this time period, you just have to say skip and we move on to the next one.
I think unless the tree is cut down in this next bit in the future, then we're gonna have to start again.
I think the tree I think has to be cut down now, and then built over the course of time so we can use it in the time that we need it.
I think we cut it down in the end phase, hold on to it as time changes, because everything we hold on to seems to stick with us. And then we'll be in the starting phase with the wood that needs to be the boat. We convince the boat builder to build a boat in the beginning with the wood that we brought back from the future. And then when we get to the future, we'll have a boat that was made in the past.
Wonderful.
But
Blóki's head looks like it's about to explode.
But the notes, which apparently have been lost
Are in
either in the city or near the well.
Surely they'll be in the past before they're lost.
But I'm wondering if it's some sort of like, it makes it like maybe it's some sort of like, it makes it much more likely for him to actually make this boat, as opposed to like he tries to make the boat without the notes and then he's like, I can't do it. It's just the mast is too heavy and it sinks every time I put it in the water or something. And then we have to go through it all over again looking for the notes.
He said it was harder. He didn't say it was impossible without the notes. But yeah. It's we could
The
say
elk have the note.
the elk have the
Maybe
note.
the elk has run off with it.
Maybe the elk knows where the notes are because it talks.
Maybe because no one seems to have paper. The notes are tattooed on the elk.
Naturally.
The elk knows all. Maybe he's the cause of the time paradox. The elk's just fucking with everyone.
He's the key thing.
Yeah.
Genuine headache.
The elk is the key.
Okay.
He's the only.
That's why he has so many legs.
Okay. So as the time cycles are speeding up, what is anything happening in this version of the cycle? I suppose will be the question, or are you moving on to the next part?
Next part. I think.
Yeah, I don't know what else there is to do here.
Okay, no problem. You guys do eventually sleep through. You come to the end section of the cycle. There is a large tree, a bit larger than it was before. Most of its golden leaves are lost. It is on the end of its life scale. Will probably be the best way of putting it as this all goes on. Any key points for this version of the cycle that we need to cover? Everything would repeat as you would expect from last time, unless you tell me something that you change. Yes.
This is gonna look for seeds, yeah.
Yeah, easily done. Xisa, yeah, you find there are no seeds. It is not ever gotten to the point where that has been a thing, as far as you can tell. You do find the gardener once more, and he talks of how it has been amazing, but now in these dark times, it has not. It has been losing. It's been losing its life force and has been weakening. But yeah, that's the gist of that part of the story.
So then plant C for chop. Rauðr, maybe chop down the tree.
Down the tree now.
Well, Frida talks to Thonir first, explains what's happened, tries to get the seed back, and then cut it down.
Fair enough. So Frida, you have the same conversation as you had last time. You do convince him that something is going on. That is definitely true. Difference being, he has no seed. He says this is the last tree that and he doesn't understand how it exists. You explain. To his mind, it was here when he started building the place. But yeah, he has not been able to collect a seed or anything like that. So it seems to have been, it has been lost to him. He has no understanding of what you're asking, Frida, this time round.
Okay. Does he agree for us to cut it down?
He says if it will do you any good, so be it on that one. But he doesn't. He's without hope at this point in the timeline.
Yeah, I'm thinking this has kind of lost its magical energy. We need to cut it down.
Xisa would go back to the tree and ritually cast it.
Yeah, you could
I think it's
definitely.
White Tree of Gondor.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You definitely can still detect magic on it, Xisa. Yeah, it's not as vibrant as it was, but it is still a strong, as strong as it would have been, if that makes sense. It's even stronger in its body than it would have been previously.
Okay, it could still be a viable source for Runa to use. It's not as vibrant on the outside, but the wood is strengthened over the age, which is what we would need it for.
Shall we grab Runar and ask his opinion on if this is a viable tree for a ship?
Yeah, absolutely. He's easy enough to bring over and chat with about it, and he says, "I could do it, but it will take many centuries." And yeah, the same story he's told you previously.
I tell him his wife's name to blow his mind, just because.
But yeah, you know the trick for getting him to talk it through. He again explains the same things as before. He feels he could do it. It would take him a long time, but he would be able to pull it off.
We got to get him to do it in the Middle Age so that it's done now, because it will cycle back to the beginning if we do, and in the beginning there's no tree. So
we cut it down now and we take the tree with us back.
I feel like the tree's not gonna go with us back, but we can try it. I do think that when we go, I do think
Sleep in the tree.
Yes, we
Sleep in
hug
the
the tree.
I do think that when we go back, the seed will be planted, though. Like, I think we've ingrained it in the cycle. But let's try. Go ahead.
On a tree.
Chop it down, Rauðr. You do you.
Okay, she chops.
Yeah, absolutely. There's sadness amongst the raiders that are watching this happen, but in these dark times, the tree is chopped down. You are able to spend the many hours that it takes to cleave the wood into a useful thing. I imagine there is a montage of you all taking the wood to the shores for Runar to begin his work. He looks at it and starts thinking and working through what he's going to do as the day passes through, and the time of the day will pass, and it's a tiring long day of hauling wood from one end to the other. But what are you attempting to achieve as night falls here, and you have this pile of magical material?
Tie ourselves to the tree.
Yeah, I'm gonna hug around it.
You're hugging.
Literally gonna.
You're hugging the log.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Sure, Xisa does the same thing. Why not?
It's not gonna be a comfortable night, but
Yeah.
Fair enough. And so you guys attempt to stay awake throughout the night to try and make this work as this is all playing out. Or are you going to
Can I
sleep?
ask Thonir before we do any? But like when I was talking to him, I want to ask him what the time difference is in Grimir. If a day here is a day in Grimir, just in case we are wasting a lot of time.
Fair enough. He does answer to his best of his ability, but he doesn't know for sure. He thinks if what you're saying is true, then we are stuck in a time cycle and no time is passing. But he is not 100% convinced. He doesn't know for sure that that's what is going. That is what's going on.
What, does he know what it usually was?
A time here and there was congruous. It was the same.
Okay,
prior, yeah.
Cool.
So
you guys will attempt to stay awake, or are you just going to sleep through? What's going on?
Zisa's gonna sleep through. I don't think being awake's gonna matter.
I would kind of want to see the change. See if there's a visible thing. I think
first time
you did,
and I was still holding my drink, and that came with me. So I think I'm going to stay awake.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys lie out in the forest on the shores where you arrived the first night. Some of you do sleep, others of you do not, as this is all going on. But yeah, for those that are awake, there comes a point in the time where you blink and there is shore, and there is no trees when you awake on the other side of the timeline. You guys awake on the early part of the beach and look up, and yeah, when you guys do slowly but surely do make your way up, there is a very small sapling of a golden tree now by the side of the hall as you do make your way there. So yeah, as a montage continues, is there anything in this first section of the cycle that changes?
We need to convince this Thonir to sail. I don't think if we leave it until the middle one,
Yeah.
he's already made his mind up not to do it. I think if we try to convince this one, that's our best chance, I think.
Okay.
We could be really mean, or we could be truthful. One of the mean things we could do is try and convince this deranged, broken-hearted version that the hell is somewhere on one of the other islands, and he's got to go and find her, and then we get a boat. But that's horrible and mean.
Or we make it a deal. We prove she's still alive, which will prove that she will be alive again in exchange for him still sailing in the future.
What do you attempt? Yeah,
Yes, I just don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So how does this
What we
play
do-
out?
We ask old man Thonir the name of his.
You kind of know the name of his beloved, but yeah. So yes,
I think it's time to convince this Thonir that Hel is still alive in the future. Is alive in the future. Because
Instead of
I wanted to do that before,
Mhm.
but I didn't want to mess up something. That's why I said next time we're here. That's when I wanted to talk to him
Okay.
and tried to talk to the Valkyrie as well to help us, because now that we know that the tree is sort of in the same cycle as us, it keeps coming back to this place. We have an opportunity to move on from this situation.
Okay, so how does this play out? Who's doing what in this time frame is the question I need. You don't have to give me the exact wording, but you do have to give me the intent of what you're trying to do in this version of the cycle.
We're back in the first day.
You are back in the first day. The Thonir is building this. The Valkyries are very protective over him again once more. The difference being there is a tree, a golden tree outside. But other than that, yeah, everything else is the same as you've seen play out before in the cycles before.
And did we talk to the well lady in the first iteration or the second iteration cycle?
First.
Yes, you did talk to her in this first section of the cycle. That is true.
Could Xisa's parents get us an inn with the Valkyries so they can let us past and we can talk to Thonir and convince him?
I don't even know who they are.
Well, we already have an inn. The Valkyrie that's living through this already has
Yeah.
Yeah.
let us in before, and
The permanent
I'm
torture
sure.
that he has under.
Yeah.
Do we know why he can remember and the others can't?
No,
He's just
it's not
cool like
been
that.
fully explained, but there is something about some Fae. It was said to you that some Fae and some creatures here do remember, but it is few and far between. He is clearly one of them in this time frame. So yeah, you approach him again. Is this how this plays out? Is it Blóki and is Frida going
Yeah.
that route?
Frida pulls Blóki by his ear.
Blóki is complaining. He's whining. He
Fair
doesn't
enough.
want to do it.
Yeah. He does acknowledge you again, and he says, Why disturb him again? You know he is not in his full right mind here.
I know this is probably the hardest thing we're going to do while we're going through these times. We need to persuade him to go to the other islands. Again.
Yes. The Valkyrie just shakes his head like he is set on his course at this time. I cannot imagine that will work. I won't stop you, but...
Well, we have proof that his love is still alive. I'm sure this is going to help. Last time I persuaded Thonir when he was a bit more grown up, he threatened me, so I feel like this Thonir is going to kill me, but I will.
Yeah.
He's a bit more grown up.
Yeah, this one he does say he is freshly grieving the loss of her. Let's tread very carefully.
Hey, let's get baby Thonir to be part of our crew, and let's get this guy to be part of our crew.
Yeah.
But yeah, he won't stop you if you do approach him. But how does this?
Before I leave, Valkyrie Male 3, what is your crew again?
No comment.
Valkyrie Male 3.
Um,
His mother named him well.
Yes.
I think we start off gently, and obviously point towards the tree because I don't think he's probably ever seen a tree like that.
Yeah, I mean, he is very pleased that one still exists. Yeah, it says it's a lovely symbol to be next to his hall.
We tried to explain we planted it and what is happening. He will not remember this conversation in the future,
and he's getting frustrated very quickly with it as this conversation goes. But how far do you push, Frida, is what I need to know.
I don't want to be killed by the god that runs this place because I don't know what will happen.
We can't die. We're fine. Everything's fine.
By Thonir, it might be that's game over. You're no longer in this place.
If you're smited by a god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how it plays out, but yeah, how does this go?
Blóki, you're a lot more gentler than me. I'm a lot more assertive. I've given you the stone. You have all the proof that it's certain somebody's still alive.
So, wait, do you want me to convince him that she's alive now, or that she will rise again?
No, not Jesus God. I mean, Thonir. Hell.
Not Jesus God.
Do not say now.
Yeah, I just double checking. Yeah.
But she gained power again, just like in the future. Oh God! Don't say Baldor and those are alive. He's just gone through and killing them and losing everything. Don't.
I won't mention the in-laws. Okay.
Won't mention the in-laws. Gonna mention the dead wife.
Next time around, we do mention the in-laws because he knows the threat that they pose, and if they are back, it means that something bad is happening. But
he's got the same look on his face that he does when he has to talk to Xisa. That level of fear. Okay.
So
right.
what you don't have to give me his exact words, but what does Blóki try to pull off in this moment with him? A frustrated Thonir at this moment anyway. He's been talking with Frida, so yeah, what does he try is what I need to know.
Basically, Blóki wants to remind him that, first of all, him and his love are different from us. They are gods. So that is a huge point, and then wants to convince. I've got to work on convincing him that we're from the future. which I'll do by reciting a bit of history from around the time that probably wouldn't be public knowledge in the present, but would be from like a historical perspective kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
something
then-
only we would know from hell. I don't know
Yeah.
what that would be, but something that only we would know. I think
I
that would
will
make help.
show the emblems and
So you bring up his dead wife. Okay, so
Oh.
I'm getting it. I'm getting the gist of it. What
I
happened?
I think I can prove that I've been to hell. I have that horn that we found there. And historically in the description it says the last known location of it was in hell.
That is
So
definitely...
it shows I have been there
Yeah.
to meet her.
The frustrated version of Thonir is visibly upset when you bring up his wife, but he will listen and speak when you say you do show him the horn. He will say that this could be used to wake the other gods if it was brought within range of them. So it needs to be brought to where they are, not just tried willy-nilly from the middle of the oceans that it was last time. But he would at least explain that in the moments. And he will say he is asking desperately, how have you got this from hell? What do you know? What happened to her? And he's got Blóki by the scruff in the moments as this is happening.
I'll put my hands on, try to settle it down and just say and explain everything that we do know and because we do kind of know all of the history by now as well.
Like from Sadi, and also I feel like mentioning Sadi.
Yeah, and I'll mention that it was something like she tried to get away from her position so she could come visit this place and see her love again, but that invited evil presences in hell and disturbed a lot.
Yeah. I'll save you the some of this, but basically the way this works out, this version of him doesn't understand that went from his point of view, she died and has gone to the underworld. He doesn't know anything about her, the ending her life and then becoming Sadi and all of that side of things. So what you explain is frustrating, confusing, and from his point of view, doesn't and can't make sense. So this story that you try to spiel isn't going down very far, if that makes sense.
I completely understand. If somebody said this to us, you will forget that this conversation ever happened. This is our issue. You are our only chance of being able to end this loop and stopping Ragnarok. It has already begun in our time. This is the issue we are trying to solve.
Mm-hmm. And you're trying
at the moment.
And unfortunately, in the way things are running, you're trying to explain this to a grieving carpenter before he's done anything.
The other version of
it
him
doesn't
is
land.
nothing either.
none of this is landing with him, I'm afraid.
All we need to do is explain it to the one that comes after.
Blóki is going to go on the emotive front. We have tried full logic here at this point. We have explained everything. There's complete vulnerability in his tone and his face when Blóki speaks to this man. There's no airs or graces about this.
No, he's angry, frustrated, but he's not. He's not insincere.
Blóki's going to say, we gain no pleasure from telling you such things. We understand how much hurt this will bring you. If you think about this, we gain nothing from upsetting you except for our own misery, our own suffering in eternity.
Then leave me be.
We only say this to you because we care, and it's the best thing forward. Like, it's all emotion at this point because logic he's ignoring completely.
Yeah, correct. He's just you realize this is a grieving man who's just not in a place to be able to pull off what you. I can't give you a role. There is no role that will make
Like
him.
I said, we're
that-
talking to the wrong version of this guy.
for him to pull that off. He's just not in a place where you can
Problem
make
is
that.
the other version of the guy also didn't allow us to roll.
Did we show the other version of the guy the horn?
Not the horn, but we did show him
No.
the hell things.
Correct. Yeah, you did. You
both
definitely
times
did.
They just
Try
they don't-
showing him the horn to show him that we've been to hell and that maybe this horn could like resurrect too or something like that.
Is that what you're trying to say to this version of Thonir, or
No,
to
this version, it just maybe we could figure out where like the are for the boat version, but this version's not the one to help us with the tree that doesn't exist yet.
No, yeah.
At least that's what I'm getting from that.
Yeah, I can't give you any sort of roles to persuade
No.
him
Yes,
of it.
this one is the wrong guy. We need to convince the hard-headed, super powerful one in the middle.
Fair enough. Is there anything that you would be wanting to try in this version? Would there be us trying to seek the notes at all in this version of the time frame? Would that make any sense, or would that be left to?
He's too emotional. If I think at this point, if we go, by the way,
Yeah.
I know we've riled you up, but where are the
Thonir-
notes? I
Thonir's a
don't
bit
think that's
beyond
gonna-
you right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel like you're lucky to have your skins in the moment, I guess is probably the best way. So yeah, are you moving forward in the cycle, or is there anything else you're trying? Forward in the cycle it is then. Okay, I will move you forward. So yes, you guys will sleep the time away. The middle section, the healthy large tree, is as you would expect. Can I have a group perception check as well, if that's possible for the outside grounds as we're here? Let me do the roll again.
I'm gonna do the skill check.
Yeah, I'll do it as this on that one. So let me see what we are going to get. Where is perception? Starting a roll, incoming. Right. Oh, some high, some. Oh, a couple high. Okay. Oh, and Blóki. Blóki pulls it off. Okay. So Blóki, you're the first to notice, and you do point them out. A couple sitting on a bench, kind of looking a bit like some of the features that Xisa has. When you do look at them sitting there on the bench quietly as this is going on, and Xisa, you do. With that level of 19 as well, once pointed out, maybe there is, a little feel of
Something in the nose.
Yeah, there is something there. Yeah, something in the nose. Yeah. Does she approach them, knowing, how things have been with other Valkyrie in this place?
I think Xisa, being the naturally inquisitive person that she is, that's ingrained in her being, that goes beyond her memories, yes, Xisa is going to approach her parent.
Okay, fair enough. These two folk do notice you relatively quickly, Xisa, as you do make your way over. The father, broad shoulder, does spot you first, Xisa, as you he sort of starts to come over and run up towards you, Xisa. He does sort of try to put out his arms in sort of shock as this is going on. He does sort of basically pass through you and looks very confused in the moment. But yeah, he tries to put his arms around you and cannot in the moment, Xisa, as that goes on. There is definitely recognition, and he tries to speak, but you hear nothing as this goes on.
luckily I have the observant feat. No, I don't. But that'd be great. That'd be great if I did. Xisa will just say, I can't hear what you're saying. Can you hear me?
He starts to speak to which must be your mother next to him, and they try to speak to you as well, but there is nothing but silence as this is going on. But they're both staring at you in awe, and they're both trying to speak, but you can't make anything out in the moment. And there is a look of shock as they're looking at the rune on your arm as well, as this is all sort of going on.
Xisa's going to kind of hold up a hand, ask them to pause, and then she's going to turn and just say, I think these are my parents. I can't understand them. When they speak, I hear nothing. Can any of you interpret this?
This is a good question. Does any of them speak Celestial?
I do.
Hey, there you go. So there is in broken communication. They start asking Frida questions. And Blóki. So there's a couple of you that can pull this off, and they say, why can we not hear our daughter? And obviously you guys can't explain the answers to some of this on that one, but they call her by Zisvara. There's the name that they use in the moments, but they are pleased to see her, but upset that they can't communicate would be the gist of it. It comes to light a little while later that they believe that it will be to do with whatever this banishment rune is. It would its reasoning would be that she is not welcome in this realm yet. Therefore, that is why they are struggling to communicate with her, is what comes to light with a little bit of time. And
Lisa would ask somebody translating to explain that she has no memories of before. That she actually just reobtained the form that she's in now. And if they know why she chose to fall.
It comes very clear very quickly that that they don't actually know the answer to that one. They know that you were unhappy with how things were, and you felt you needed to be more. And they were saddened when you were lost, but they don't know why. And they're very, very disturbed to find out that she has basically no memories of them. It's they get quite distraught at that. In some ways, like what they're seeing is a lost version of their daughter, and that she hasn't got her memories is very upsetting to this pair.
Lisa would then ask somebody to relay that they have an intention to go seek out the Keeper, as she once did before, to obtain the answers that they seek. That they are going to try to harvest the wood from the sapling that is currently and they will try to do they actually before all that, she'll ask them if they are aware of the odd passage of time.
It comes very clear they are not aware of it.
They're not. Okay.
No, so they have been grieving for you for a long while, they do not know much about the passive. So you obviously were gone from here before this time frame, if that makes sense.
And for all I know, the me in this time is like maybe on the way to go. How? Actually, that's a question. How did I leave? How did I depart?
No idea. No one has said how that was pulled off.
Okay. Something to ask Thonir later.
Mhm.
So I guess Xisa and whoever else speaks Celestial, because this can't be a secret, she'll just ask them who she was. Like, just learn about herself.
I mean, how much time do you spend on this? But it's basically someone young, brash, strong-minded, intelligent for certain. Was always one to do her own thing. But she was kind and helpful, and always wanted to do more. And yeah, it was a great loss that she was gone. And it's weird very weird for them to be talking to these people about the daughter they lost in front of the daughter, or a version of the daughter they lost. It's a very melancholy scene, I'm gonna say, in the moment.
Yeah. I think Xisa would be forthcoming with who she became, how she picked up the arcane, how even in Grimir she was an outcast, found a little acceptance, but what acceptance she did, she tried to cling to. She still walked her own path. She was still very headstrong. Maybe it doesn't volunteer that she wasn't as helpful or kind.
No, fair enough. Plays a different version of it.
Yeah, just it was a hard go, but she persevered and became strong and found her way back and is ever seeking answers.
Yeah, they take all of this in, and they are. It's nice, Xisa, but you also realize that if they're trapped in the time loop, this is not gonna stay with them. So there is a bit of sadness in that for Xisa, but for in those moments they kind of had part of their daughter back.
So I think after this interaction and no, I hope this is okay, but I think she's gonna take the day and keep the party here doing this. And she'll ask if that's okay of everyone.
Blóki will do whatever he's told.
This version of Xisa doesn't really give orders.
He knows inside he's still scared.
Okay.
You can't get rid of that with a change of face. He's terrified.
Yeah, so Xisa is spend the day with her parents, getting to know herself, letting them know who she became, and all that. And I think that's how this part of the loop is spent. And she knows that it's not going to stick for them, but this is a little self-indulgent so that this can, go in that way, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. The day plays out, and everyone sort of gives her the time with her parents, fleeting as it is, and knowing that it won't, that it can't last. But yeah, it plays out in that form. You take the time, and time does pass, and another night will pass through to the middle section of everything. Again, the tree grows larger. The next day is there. Your parents are out there again once more, Xisa, but again probably with no knowledge of how that played out on the day before.
The conversation with them is time consuming, and as stuck in a loop, I think Xisa, not the cold, but like the analytical side of her knows that it's a futile thing.
Yeah.
And so she entertained it once, and now that she's done that, she's okay with trying to now break the cycle so she can actually have a conversation with them.
Fair enough. So yeah, the second day, I'm assuming the way this plays out, Blóki, Frida attempt the same conversations with Thonir yet again through the process of, as it went the first time?
Like he tries to run away because he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah,
I think the only thing that changes is we show him the horn, and we explain. I think even though this is gonna once again get Frida threatened, we tell him about Boda and the other one. I always forget.
Yeah, Murgle and Boda and all of that. So
and just say your efforts weren't in vain. They have been held back for thousands of years, but something has changed and they have come back. Hence, and then again we'll explain the loop. Again, they are causing this. They have stopped the Halls of the Slain being able to come back at the end of times to help aid in the final battles in the Ragnarok.
And what do you request of him? That he lift allow the tree to be cut down, or how does that play out?
Allow the tree to be cut down, but if he doesn't want anyone to travel, only us and a select amount of crew. We know the person who can build it, and with his help it would be built faster, and his future self will know why we're doing it, and he understands why we're doing it.
Okay. So you're going to go for it on the middle front. Blóki, I need a really good roll from Blóki. I'm going to say the DC is 22 to pull this off with this version of him.
What? Anything that?
Sorry,
you do. Can Xisa be there too for this conversation? I don't know how to help.
That's all right. But Blóki does have advantage on the roll because with Frida's help and what's been going on. So it's a 22, but with advantage due to the.
Dunner.
There you go.
Is it also the aura of Frida?
No, that's only saving throws. That's not.
Fair enough. So with a little bit of help and time, you managed to convince this version of Thonir at the height of his power that the cycle, there is a cycle going on, there is problems. It will take centuries for the problems to be resolved, but if Runar is given the materials in this time, it will be plausible that at the end of times that something can be done. So I think there is a scene here where the felling of the tree occurs. Rauðr, you are allowed to take axe to this thing as Thonir and everyone watches around as axe is taken to it, and the tree is allowed to be felled. The wood is sacredly taken to the endless shores, and Runar is given the task to work on a new ship to allow of sailing of the seas once more. Go ahead.
I want to try something. Can I give Thonir just the normal rooster coin, not Bly's special one? I just want to see if it carries on to his next person, and obviously it's more sentimental to him than.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, Frida, you can do that with him, and he takes it with thanks for certain. And there is. He's at the height of his strength. He has not lost hope at this point, but you feel, he is pleased with that at least. I imagine that you guys then sleep through to the last point in the cycle. I imagine at some point in the evening, unless there was anything else, but we'll bring it through so that you're at least coming through. So you wake up the next day. The nothing but the stump of the tree down at the final thing. The tendrils of shadow surrounding this place more dramatically than before. There is sounds of people preparing for war. Ragnarok is getting closer. All of that is still going on. Do you guys just make your way to the shores to see what Runar has been making, or is there anything you would be doing in the rest of this?
Well, we got to
I
go
would like
collect Broxler.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We said we'd bring her with us.
Absolutely. You can stop on the way, making your way down towards the endless shores.
Also, you guys talked to did you guys ask the Valkyrie if he wants to come with us since he's outside the loop too?
I mean, we can go find him now. He'd probably be around.
We can ask him.
Yeah, you can make a
Because he knows
persuasion
what's
check for him
happening.
as well. Let's see if he is interested in making the idea as well.
We need a whole new crew, gang. Oh snap!
He loves it. He's desperate. He wants to come with us.
He's so bored.
He's definitely
He only hated Xisa because everyone else did.
he's definitely up for the idea of making the way there. But so you stop off, you find your Fey friend, and you do make your way to the ocean's edge. As you do, you basically you approach the crowd that seems to be surrounding down by the water's edge here as you descend the hill. You see Runar. He stands at the shore, grinning, his hands behind his back. Oddly, there is no sign of a ship as you guys make your way close to the shores at this point. Thonir is coming down the roads as well, with some of the others coming in the crowd. As this is going on, Thonir will push in front of the crowd, frowning slightly, and he says to Runar and to yourselves, "You had them cut down the sacred tree, and yet there is nothing to show for it, Runar?" The dwarf's grin gets wider, and then he says, "But the vessel is right here, Thonir. Can you not see it?" And Thonir looks around confused in the moments, and then what you see is the dwarf is teasing Thonir slightly because he pulls out a tiny miniature ship in his hand, perfectly scaled and perfectly, a Viking long ship in perfect replica as he goes, and he says, "My finest work." And Thonir looks confused at him in the moment, and then he goes, "Skith ship, unfurl!" And he throws it into the water in front of him. And as you watch the sails unfurl, the ship grows in size to its full Viking longship in length, a massive, beautiful Skith ship for all of you to be able to travel these magical seas onwards. There has never been a finer vessel built in these lands. And he says, Runar says, "It's pretty good." On that one.
Boat.
But he says, as he turns to you all, he says, "Well, it appears you have your ship for now. And if you'll have me, I'm more than happy to join your crew. And we can go sailing as I once did on these lands."
Is this Thonir saying this?
No, this is the this is the dwarf Runar. Sorry, apologies.
We
Yeah.
have Thonir and have his crew action.
Yeah.
He does not seem keen on sailing these lands on that one, but Runar is willing to join you. So yes, we will.
Here's hoping we get him tomorrow, unless he just disappears.
That's a good question. Are you going to sleep on?
Do we think the island is what's in the loop, and once we get away from it, everything's hunky dory?
Wow.
Can we miniaturize the boat again? Is that the purpose of it? So we can
Runar
carry it?
does explain with a little bit of
pocket.
time that yes, you can shrink or expand the boat as you see fit. So yeah, you can travel between their islands and take the boat with you in someone's pocket. So yes, that is what this version of this Viking ship will allow you to do. So yes,
So-
we will come to that next time. But yes,
My question is, if we would gotten him the notes, What would have been different about this boat?
Interesting. But we don't know the answer to that one, so we will see
But
what happens.
We could, since now we know how to get to this point. We go back and then we could just keep doing this, gang, until we get 100.
No, we'll go insane.
I've heard enough already.
We don't know what's up with that white elk. We don't know where these notes are, or what's going on with that well. Sorry, the 100% completionist is nuts right now.
Yeah, fair enough. And there is
Let's
also
go through a couple more loops. More loops.
I will also say you don't know what would happen if you sailed back here either. So we don't know how any of that plays out, but we will find all of that out next time. But first things first, we will set sail on the seas. There is probably 2 locations that you will eventually dawn on that are possibles for you to visit. One will be the island of where the keeper is that you have heard of. That is one possibility that you are aware of. And another place called Whispering Cove, which is the home of the of your Boxler friend, the Fey friend that you have had join your team. But yeah, we'll decide all of those next time, and we will figure that out. Well done.